All right. Sorry. Um, it's been a while. This one, honestly, there's a lot I have to talk about, but for some reason, whenever I have a lot to talk about, the very next day I can never really remember it. But that's okay. Um, you know, right now it's currently the night. I spent some time abroad, just pursuing Pokemon. Because obviously I really love Pokemon. Fun fact. Um, so I mean, most people know, or not most people, but a couple of my friends know that I spent some time in Japan. Um, see, my throat is really messed up. Sorry about this. And the main reason is that I feel that when it comes to the hobby, for me personally, I'm very thankful for it. I'm very, very thankful for it. Pokemon has been there for me when it comes to the games, when it comes to the show, when it comes to the cards. I think I've spoken about it before, but Pokemon has always just been a constant, in my upbringing, in my life. Wherever I've looked, I didn't have to look too far to see some Pokemon. And that's always been something that's stuck true with me, and I'm very thankful for that. Um, and I kind of just wanted to learn, sort of like there was a bunch of reasons. I really wanted to sort of just know more. I guess like the most important one is I wanted to know more, and there's a lot of cool stuff. Not even cards, but there's a lot of really like just cool stuff relating to Pokemon that I didn't even know existed. A lot of series posters, a lot of like sealed stuff that I didn't know existed, just a lot of history. The main reason I really went was just really for the history, because where better to learn the history than the place where the series was made, right? So that's series, franchise, whatever you want to call it. So that's sort of my main reason, because to me, it's more than just about the cards. It's it's about everything for the most part. I mean, obviously, like I'm very always card centric, but um, I really do care about the history behind it too. And as I age, uh, of course, I collect cards, but I also would like to know more about what I'm collecting. I would like to know more about the history. I like to learn. Funnily enough, I don't really like to learn about a lot of things, but I really do like to learn about the history regarding Pokemon. So that's the biggest reason that I went history, 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 and I was definitely met with a lot of history when I went. It's kind of hard for me to recall because I really like the place. It's overwhelming, but obviously in a good way. Um, and so especially because I was there for quite a while and I did a lot that it's kind of hard to remember everything I did. So I may take some pauses. I may take some pauses to I may take some pauses to just reflect or just think back. Um I had a terrible journey getting there. Terrible, terrible, terrible. On my way there, my train basically it just messed up and I ended up missing my flight and it was just straight garbage. So that was already just absolutely abysmal. Um, Once I got there, you know, things were a little better. Very, very busy place, Tokyo. Not necessarily Japan, but Tokyo. Very, very, very busy place. I remember I got there. I just, I got some rest. I purchased. I didn't stay in a hotel. I just got a very small kind of a hut, to say the least. Kind of. It's a very, very small hut for myself in Shinkoenji. So a little. I mean, it's still Tokyo, but not super central. 10 minutes. 10-minute, 12-minute walk from the train station. Shinkoenji, close to Shinjuku, close to Shinjuku. So that's where I was at. Um, I went for the Pokemon culture, and I wanted to see the difference, between the West and Japan. And there's I noticed many, many, many things, and it might be a little abstract. I might repeat some things, or I might miss out on some key things. But honest, because it's kind of hard. I'm not the best storyteller. But first and foremost, starting with respect. They really um they really do respect and cherish Pokemon over there. Dude, what the hell is that in front of me? It's like a little fly, bro. Go away. Oh, that's really annoying. Okay, I guess. Yeah, they really respect and cherish Pokemon over there. Every store I went to, um, every store I went to, was just filled. Well, not necessarily filled, but a lot of stores I went to were, really had a lot of admirers. Obviously, people purchasing cards, but you can kind of see, like, you can see, like, in their eyes, like a really, like a real genuine passion, um, for the hobby. And I'm not necessarily saying the West doesn't have it, but it's a little, I don't know, it's a little different. Um, I would say that in the West, mostly NA and UK, obviously children have that same sort of passion, that same sort of glow in their eyes. But when I was abroad and I was going to a lot of the other popular card shops, what I noticed is that there were the age spread was like there were like obviously there were children, there were 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, like young elementary kids and whatnot. But there were also teens and also just straight up grown adults in the shop, like straight up just grown adults with almost like childlike expressions on their faces when it came to these cards. And that was really nice to see. It was really nice to see a massive age diversity in the shop. You had like I don't think there were a couple, fairly aged individuals, I would say 40 plus, but just a lot of just grown men and women as well, straight up just having, that same kind of admiration in their eyes, where you can tell someone just has a real admiration for something, like a real connection with it. You could see. And obviously in a lot of the card shops, they call them showcases, and the showcases are really nice, and it's true, when you have like a bunch of things put together, in this case cards, and like they're all together, like they do look really, really nice. I mean, just using an example, using Haruya. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of awkward to say, but Haruya. um and that's a super, super, super busy shop, obviously. um they really, the way they like organize their product, it's almost like, with specifically for Haruya at least, you can kind of see that they really, really like appreciate and cherish it, because they almost make it like very museum-esque. In the one in Akihabara, they have they have a cabinet, and the cabinet has like, it has English cards, and it has like a lot of like really, I don't know if they're rare or whatever, but it looks really presentable. You know, it looks really presentable. Like you wouldn't necessarily think that it was like a store. I mean, obviously it's a store, but if you just saw it on its own, like if you just took that section out on its own, you could you know, it would fit like right into a museum or something, you know, with the way they made it. It was like it was some CGC first edition base set, coupled with like these really cool rare uh promotional Pikachu plushies, like not your average plushies, like they had like kimonos, and there was like a pirate one, and like definitely just like very rare ones, you know. So, and that went for a lot of stores too. A lot of stores, like the way they for some of their like special stuff, they really present it in a way that is like very, very, it's like you could obviously like, you should buy stuff when you go to stores, but like you could just take that section out and put it in a museum, and it would, you know, it would look like it's a display for you to look at. You know, one of the biggest ones would have to be Tareka Camp in Nagoya. Like those guys, they go above and beyond. You know, they like, yeah, the stuff is for sale, but the way they display it and the way they present it, you know, it's almost like just going through a gallery, and it's really, really beautiful. And not that there's anything wrong with, you know, not doing that, but um at least maybe in the UK, maybe a couple, maybe some card shops in NA do that, but it just, it doesn't have the same, you know, it kind of just feels like, here is this product, you know. There's just maybe, you know, not necessarily a lack of care, but they just don't put in that extra effort, you know. So that's just something that I noticed in Japan. You know, they really care about, really care about Pokemon. They care about, at least the places I went, they really care. And this is just furthered by the fact that with a lot of the stores I went to, and obviously this does make sense for business, to be fair. Like it's good to have, you know, if your store is able to accommodate these people playing the TCG, then that's good for that business because they make more money. But I will say, just straight up, a lot of the stores did have TCG sections. And I'm a fraud. I'm not gonna lie, I am a fraud. I don't know how to play the TCG. I think I already explained that when I was younger, um, me and my friends would just play by like, uh, we would play it almost as if it was Yu-Gi-Oh. We would play like, we would have like 6 cards in our hand or whatever. Then we would pick one, and we would just take turns like attacking each other until we just ran out of cards. So you know, that's all I know. But yeah, moreover on what I said, um, you know, you can see the passion and love for the hobby based on just how many people uh are always just playing the game. Um, I have to admit, everywhere I went throughout my journey, a lot of the time on the train, people were either playing TCG Pocket or just straight up. Because I don't think TCG Pocket is the same as the trading card game. It might be, I'm not sure. There might be two individual apps, but there were people just playing either the TCG or Pocket, probably Pocket, very frequently. And for every card store that I went to that had a TCG section, there were a lot of people. There was one store in particular, there was one store in particular that I went to, and it was really beautiful. It wasn't, I mean, the place was really nice too, but it was a Toyer TCG, which is also in Akihabara. Toyer Toyer TCG. They have really nice cards too. Um, but when I went at like 9 p.m. and there were so many people playing the TCG at 9 p.m. It was really cool to see. It was really, really cool to see. You know, they look really happy. They look really comfortable. They were having a nice time, men and women. No children, probably because it was very late, 9 p.m. I actually did not know this, but Japan has a universal curfew for all minors to be home before 10 p.m., which I think is absolute genius. I did not know that. But yeah, just men and women playing the TCG. It was a really, really positive and happy environment. It looked really good. And what I also noticed is what was really interesting is they actually had different days for different eras of Pokemon. So I noticed that I think they were playing the most up-to-date format, whatever that was, probably Scarlet Violet. At this point in time, now that Mega cards are out, maybe the TCG will change. But when I went to Toyo TCG, obviously Scarlet Violet was the most up-to-date format, so that's what they were playing. But I noticed on the screen, um, they had like a date, and then the date said ADV PCG. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so it had a date next to it, and it said ADV and PCG, and that is what the Japanese refer to the EX era as. So that's you know, Ruby Sapphire all the way to Power Keepers and maybe some other stuff, some promotional stuff. But yeah, they call it ADV PCG. So I thought that was really cool that you know, not only are they playing the current format, but people are still passionate about, you know, playing the TCG in the older formats, which is very, very interesting. So that was really, really cool. Uh, it's just it's so interesting to see that, you know, and this was everywhere. Like every store I went to, people were buying cards to, you know, want to play the game. I mean, obviously, like, you know, it's kind of funny. I was literally just watching Worlds like 10 minutes ago. Obviously, you know, the Japanese are like, you know, they're the home of some of the most important, pretty much all the most important, you know, tournaments. So I'm not really surprised that you know, the competitive play for TCG is there. You know, so that was really, really interesting. Another thing I want to talk about um during my travel is they have a very interesting, it kind of links back to passion and genuine care. Um but they have a very interesting take on their current market. Their market is very different to the Western market. So for a lot of the rare cards, your crystals, your shinings, your gold stars, they sort of have like it's almost like it's a premium, but it's kind of like a premium out of respect. It's really strange. I don't know how to. There's a lot of factors. One is supply. One is supply. Their overall supply of those kinds of cards are is becoming very low. But they have this kind of just innate uh I don't know what word to use other than just respect. But they have this kind of just innate respect for the rarer cards, so much so that they put a premium on them simply because those cards are like special and old. And obviously, like this doesn't particularly apply to. I mean, it applies to like no rarity old backs too, but not all old backs. But it applies to some. So, for example, when it comes to shinings, right? They shinings are very special in Japan. Obviously, Hakaru means shining, and a while ago, shinings actually used to be the most expensive out of, you know, most of the out of the secret rare trio when it comes to like crystals, gold stars, and shinings. Shinings actually used to be the most expensive, but when it comes to all three, they have an innate respect for them. And what I noticed is that it doesn't really bother me. If anything, I think it's kind of cool. But it doesn't matter if like the card is damaged. Um, it really doesn't matter. They will and this is probably also due to the supply as well, but they will price secret rare cards, at least now, definitely of course due to supply as well, but they will price their secret rares very very high. It doesn't matter if the condition is bad. Um, and I just think that's kind of interesting. I went to a store and I wanted to purchase a Mysterious Mountain Celebi first edition, and they had it priced at 300,000 yen. 300,000 yen is maybe like 2,200, maybe like $2,200, maybe like 2,100, $2,200 or something. And I showed them. I said, "Hey, so this is a PSA 8, uh, same card, PSA 8, going for $1,400. So do you think you could do lower for me?" And they said, "No, we can't do that. Uh, like that's just not the prices in Japan." They didn't say it like that meanly. They said it like really nice, and we were having a really nice discussion. But it was very interesting to me how the Western prices just don't really matter over there, and that makes total sense. I mean, it's literally on the other side. Oh my god, I almost just freaking dropped my tripod, bro. Yeah. Um, it's literally on the other side of the world. It's a totally different market. Why should they care like what PSA 8 is going for? It was raw as well, so I mean like but it wasn't PSA 8 quality. It was less than a PSA 8, but it was just very interesting how like that doesn't matter to them. They have their own individual economy, which makes total sense. Of course, why would they not? They're their own country, but they have their own economy um that they go off of. And what's important to them is what's important to them. And I thought, that's really cool. Oh, second, I gotta. Yeah, anyway, so I thought that was really cool, and this applied to all of their cards, all of their rare cards. It doesn't matter if it's damaged. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter what the comps are in the West. I mean, some. So when it comes to their graded, they do go off comps globally, which makes total sense. I mean, like that is the same. A PSA 10 poncho is a PSA 10 poncho. So when it comes to their graded, they would price accordingly across the world. But when it comes to their raw is priced individually based on what the card is, and just that alone. So if the card is something like maybe like famous or like famed or like just very high demand, it doesn't matter if like it's bad. You know, they'll price it as they see fit because they have a certain they have like a certain, I guess you could just call it like wow factor. It has like history, it has a wow factor, so they price it very very high. And that's totally fine. That was really interesting to me. um Throughout my time there, I traveled a lot. And I met some really nice people. I honestly feel like I should have an individual talk about those guys. So maybe I'll do that in the next one. But I met a Californian guy somehow. I don't know how. I think he was also on holiday too. Um, he was really really cool. He was collecting as well. I met him in Hararuya. And we went car looking together, which is awesome. Yeah, it was really nice. It's nice to. It was very unexpected, very unexpected, but he was nice. I met a nice guy who works at PDG. Um, Mr. Kintaro. I don't know too much about him, but he's really nice. He actually sold me a card that I will show later. I'm really happy about that. I met him too. Very very funny guy, very quirky guy, very nice. Um, and then I also met another person who works at a card shop, and his name is Toki. Shout out Toki, also a very nice guy. Um, Crazy enough, did some voice acting in Kojima's Death Stranding 2, which is absolutely insane. It's not every day that you meet a voice actor for one of the most acclaimed games of the modern day, which is absolutely crazy. Very nice guy. on some really really interesting cards. Big Latios Latias fan, which is really really cool. And that ties back into another one of the reasons that I wanted to go. I just wanted to. I've always spoken about how I want to meet more people regarding the hobby. And I say true. I use the phrase true collectors because I know it sounds a little bit elitist because everyone is a collector. That's a lie. Not everyone is a collector. Straight up, not everyone is a collector. But there are a lot of resellers who are also genuine collectors, and that does sound a little bit elitist for me to say true collector. But I just wanted to meet more people who think a little bit similar to me. And I wanted to meet more people who like really, really, really do like care about the hobby. They really, really do care about the hobby, and 'cause I could talk about cards for hours. I really, really could. I could talk about the history of the cards. I could talk about what's happening with cards. I really do have a strong passion for them, and I just wanted to meet people with a similar passion. And I'm a little bit of an introvert. That's a lie. I'm not a little bit. I'm a massive introvert. Um, but sometimes I show up, and I mean, I talk to people. I'm in this Discord where all they talk about is cards, and that place is great. But I wanted to, just go see what it's like out there, and possibly meet some Japanese collectors and see how they feel about collecting over there. And obviously they're absolute fanatics over there, hands down. Um Toki, definitely a collector at heart, no doubt. Owns He has a self-graded theater Latias Latios that is sequential. I think the Latios is a 10, and the Latias is a 9, and he opened them from the sealed kit in hopes of getting a 10, and unfortunately got a 9. So he's really looking for sealed kits to get a sequential again. Um, Really, really, really nice guy. You can really see the really see. I don't know. It's just very clear, when people just do it for the love of the game. It's really clear when people just do it for the love of the game. Um, Kintaro, uh, I um, lovely guy, lovely guy. Just I don't know, the guy's crazy. So I saw him in a video, and that video uh propelled me to go meet him because it's a video from a guy like called KB Pokemon or something, very pretty popular guy in the UK. I ended up watching it, and the guy he featured, Kentaro, collects a lot of the same stuff I do. And I was like, dude, I have to meet this guy. He's crazy. So I went to Nagoya, I met him, and he was just the same, just pretty much the exact same. Pretty quirky, pretty silly. It was lovely conversation. We were talking for hours just about the hobby. Really complimented um our collection, and it was really really nice. I really really do love just sitting down and just talking about Pokemon. Oh, it was really good, really enjoyable. Um, we were just talking about the market, talking about cards I need, just getting to know him. It was really 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 fun. That was awesome. I hope to see him again soon. That'd be really cool. A lovely store, PDG Nagoya. Um, and then other guy's name who I met in Haruruya. Um, Ryan. His name's Ryan. Don't know too much about him, but all I know is very nice guy, very polite. Uh, just really reserved, really nice guy. Good taste, cool taste. You know, met him and his girlfriend. Really cool. I was on my own, so you know, it was cool to meet some English speakers and just go look at some cards. So maybe I have him on socials, so maybe I'll see how his collection is going in a couple months or something. That was really really cool. Um, I mean, I guess I'll just talk about. I mean, dude, there's so much. I'll make another video or something. But so during my time there, these were the cards that I got. This card, obviously, everyone knows it in English. It is Split Earth. Is in Japanese. Let me like adjust this. There we go. In Japanese, let's adjust this some more. There we go. Adjust this some more. There we go. Yeah. In Japanese, a little bit more low key. There we go. Yeah. In Japanese, the E series sets are split into subsets. So I can't speak for Expedition. I think there might be several Expedition sets, either one or two, maybe even three. Actually, let me think. No, I think there's only one Expedition set, and it's just Expedition, or it might not be called that, but I think it's low key. I can't remember what it's called, but for Skyridge, um, there's Split Earth and there's Mysterious Mountains, and Split Earth, Split Earth has the Ho-Oh, I think the Golem and the Kabutops, and then Mysterious Mountains. Wait, Golem, Kabutops, Ho-Oh. Where the hell is the Crobat? I don't think the Crobat is Split Earth. It might be. I don't think it is. I think the Crobat is Mysterious Mountains. But anyway, yeah. But the Umbreon, let's start with the Umbreon. The Umbreon comes from Split Earth, and this is a card that I got. I like it way more. I wish I got a swirl. I wish there was one that had a swirl, but that one was damaged. I really wanted this card in Unlimited too, but I just like Unlimited is getting extremely rare in Japan right now. A lot of the E series, just a lot of everything that like can be unlimited is just it's very hard to get. So Split Earth Umbreon, I like it more than the Skyridge Umbreon. I do not own the Skyridge Umbreon. And I definitely should have got that card several years ago because now that card is ridiculous. But it's got a little bit of white just over there or something, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. It looks like it does. It definitely does. Yeah, just a little bit. But really like this card. I like it way more in Japanese. I've spoken about Japanese cards before, and you know, uh, texture, hollow, like everything is just better. Everything is just better. It's kind of just a no-brainer, to be honest with you. So, can't remember where I picked this up from, to be honest with you, but really happy about it. Looks really good, and we'll be keeping it forever, five ever. And I mean, you already know these guys. So I picked up, uh, dude, look, he spoiled it. Oops. Yes, I picked up. Oh, that's actually a different card. So I mean, we'll just put that there. I picked up. Oh, this one was separate. I picked up these three together. Super hard to ignore the to avoid the right corner of death. I can't remember what Celebi is called in Japanese, but Tyranitar in Japanese is Bangarasu, which I think is pretty cool. And the Raichu is just Raichu. I can't remember what Celebi is called. Umbreon is called Brekki, and Brekki and Noctowl is Yonozokoro. It's either Yozunokoro or Yonozokoro. I'm pretty sure it's Yonozokoro. But yeah, which is way cooler than Noctowl, by the way. But yeah, I picked up Shining Raichu, Shining Tyranitar. It's got this little white stain or whatever, but honestly, I don't care at all. Um, and then Shining Celebi, and then I picked up Shining Noctowl from a different place. This Shining Noctowl is really freaking good, really really good. Really happy with it. I mean I'm no PSA expert, but um, it's pretty damn fucking good. To be honest with you, so I really like that. This is dude, this card is hard as fuck, bro. This might be the hardest like Noctowl's ever looked. To be honest with you, bro, Noctowl looks so tough here, and it's kind of just funny because like it comes from Hoot Hoot, which is like I don't know, who kind of just looks like a donut, like just I don't know, not much aura. Obviously, we've got Shining Raichu. I think the Raichu is great too. I've got a little bit on the corner, but dude, that corner is just like bro, like even PSA nines have that shit, bro. You know, really happy. It's got a little bit of white just there, but you know, again, super happy with that. Super super happy. This one is funny because when it comes to the shining Pokemon, it's kind of just always a little funny to just have the background just be static and not be hollow. It kind of almost looks like a little just like not plasticky, but just so flat, and then you just have the Pokemon, which is the actual hollow, which is kind of funny. Um, so yeah, we got that. We got the Raichu, Yonozakoro, Bangarasu, Bangarasu. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of this one, but it's starting to grow on me just a little bit. Bar the white stain. Um, you know, again, just really happy about that. Really happy because you know these cards are they're getting really hard to find in good condition. Celebi, the corner again. You know, I think I'm really starting to like the pink Celebi. I wasn't too much of a fan, but for some reason I really like this particular Celebi artwork. It looks like I don't know, it looks really majestic. I kind of like the position, you know, as if she's floating away somewhere. Really, really cool. It would be crazy if the background were actually hollow. I don't know. That could have possibly changed Shining cards entirely. But I guess the Pokemon is meant to be like what's important. You can see like a portion of the hollow. It's so interesting. And then again, the back. This one's got a little bit on the corner right there, but that is okay. That is okay. Um, so yeah, we got those fellers. Then we got another shiny. Not fan club. I am not that crazy. But this card is absolutely stunning. Um, condition on this shining Magikarp is actually like wow. I spoke to a couple people and they said like it's probably a 9, maybe. I think I mean centering like dude, like look at that, man. Just look at that, man. Wow. Centering is gorgeous. Back is just, you know, I think just a little. I think it just might just be that speck at the top there. But like, dude, you know, I'm never gonna grade any of these. So you know, it's just for me and the other person. So like, wow, bro, centering is absolutely beautiful. Like, wow. Was really happy about this one. I'm not gonna take it out, but the surface of this card, if you see scratches, it's almost definitely the top loader. The surface, I mean, the sleeve, the surface on this card is actually like, dude, like it's just like wow, like what, bro? Like, are you kidding me? Like, oh my gosh, bro! And I got it at such a good price too. Like compared to some other stores, like some other stores had like their very like their S ones and their A ones at like triple the price I got that one at. So I don't know, like super happy about that one. That might be star of the game, play of the game, whatever, MVP. And then this card. So I got this card in Nagoya of Mr. Kintaro himself. And it's funny because in one of my other videos, maybe I mean not even maybe, like definitely several months ago, I was saying that I would like to have this card in the next few months. So that, you know, is a little bit of a circle around. And I mean, I already like clipped it a little bit because I mean I wasn't planning to turn it over and talk about it last, but of course it is a very good condition Gold Star Rayquaza in Japanese. I really did want the unlimited version of this card, even though the first edition is more valuable. I mean, I'm not a biggest fan of the first edition stamp. I kind of just don't like it since the English don't have it, and I think it just looks way cleaner when it doesn't have the first edition stamp. Um, but dude, why can I get it like in the center? Thanks, that would be nice. Thanks, man. But I mean, yeah. Uh, this card, I mean, I don't even know what to say. You know, uh, I'm very, very happy. You know, I'm super, like, I still can't even believe that, you know, I have the card. I've, in particular the Japanese version, I have loved this card for such a long time. The Japanese version. I just think the silver is just so much better than the yellow. Honestly, like, ugh, like if I just grab, if I just bear with me, yes. Like, are you really gonna tell me? Are you really gonna tell me that like the silver isn't better? Like, come on, bro. You're really gonna tell me that? You're gonna convince me that this is better than this? Like, come on, man. There's just no way. There's no freaking way. But anywho, I really like this sleeve, by the way. Really cool. But anyway, yeah, I so happy about this guy. Um, it's quote unquote grade worthy. It doesn't have any dents, doesn't have any scratches. Um, could get anywhere from an 8 to a 10. But I guess I'll never know. And honestly, I kind of like the fact that I will never know. Because I'll just never do it. You know, if you come back to me in 5 years, I promise you I'll still have the same raw cards. Um, and that to me is beautiful. And never knowing what they might actually be worth is a little bit funny. Maybe, you know, if I ever have a kid, I'll pass them on to the kid. And if I don't have a kid, when I die, then maybe I'll pass them on to someone else and I'll say, hey, if you want to grade him, then you can grade him. But, yeah, really, really happy about this one. You know, I've been wanting this one for years, years, and it's kind of awkward because like I'm literally paying like way more for it than like when I actually started wanting it, which was like in like freaking 2021 or something, 2020. Um, but it doesn't really matter. All that matters is it's here now. I wish it had a swirl, but it's okay. It's okay. It's really hard to get swirls on those guys, on this guy in particular. So, you know, really, really happy about that one. There's still so much I have to talk about, but currently I cannot remember it. And that is okay. That is okay. So yeah, is everything we got. You know, super happy, super happy. You know, and you know, I really got to learn. I got to learn a lot. I got to learn. I made some friends, which is rare because I don't make friends too often. If you know me, you know I don't make friends too often. But I got to make some friends who also collect cards, and I like that a lot. I'm really happy about that. So I hope I can see them soon. And I think the next, I really want to pick up some other cards. I think I will do a what I would like to pick up video soon or something. Um, I still have to. There's other things I want to talk about regarding my trip, and there's a lot that I want to talk about regarding the hobby as well. Because the hobby is, I'll just flat out say it. The hobby is in the stupidest place I've ever seen right now. Um, oh, straight up, it's in the dumbest place I've ever seen right now. Um, just straight up, just like moronic. And I have some strong opinions that might upset some people. Not, it shouldn't upset some people because they're literally getting rich. But I have some strong opinions that people may not agree with. You know, um, and that's okay. That's why they're opinions and not facts. But I'll talk about that some other time. I am gonna make another one fairly soon. I will try to. It's really hard to kind of just talk consistently for 40 minutes, but thankfully I can do it about Pokemon. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you're one of the very few people who for some reason want to hear what I have to say, thanks a bunch and take care.